I was 24 years old when my sister looked me in the eye at Mom's funeral and said, "You were always her charity case. Now it's time for the adults to handle things." The words hit me like a slap. We were standing in the receiving line at Riverside Memorial Chapel, surrounded by black dresses and whispered condolences. Mom had been gone for only 3 days. 3 days. And Sarah was already making her move. I watched her fingers close around the house keys, Mom's keys, like she owned them. Like she owned everything? Sarah was 32, married to a lawyer named Derek, drove a BMW, wore pearls even to the grocery store. I was the baby, the dropout, the one who'd moved back home 2 years ago when my graphic design freelancing wasn't paying the bills. "I'll be changing the locks tomorrow," Sarah continued, her voice syrupy sweet for anyone listening. "The estate needs to be secured. You understand, don't you, sweetie?" I didn't answer. I couldn't. My throat was full of glass. Behind her, Derek nodded approvingly, his hand possessive on her lower back. A few cousins shifted uncomfortably but said nothing. Nobody ever said anything when Sarah spoke. She had that effect, confidence that felt like authority. Mom's casket sat 15 feet away, covered in white roses. I'd picked those roses. I'd held Mom's hand through the chemo. I'd cleaned her bedpans, administered her morphine, read her poetry at 3 in the morning when the pain was too much. Where had Sarah been? Conference calls, business trips, visiting when she could. But now she had the keys. What I didn't know was that Mom had left me something Sarah couldn't steal with a locksmith. The next morning, I showed up at Mom's house, our house, with a duffel bag to collect my things. Sarah's Mercedes was already in the driveway. I used my key. It still worked, for now. Inside, Sarah had transformed the living room into some kind of war room. Boxes everywhere, labeled in her perfect handwriting: donate, sell, trash. Mom's favorite armchair, the one where she'd taught me to read, where we'd watched old movies every Sunday, had a bright yellow sell sticker on it. "You can't just be here," Sarah said, appearing from the kitchen with a clipboard. "Always a clipboard. We discussed this yesterday." "You discussed it," I shot back. "I'm still living here, Sarah. My stuff is upstairs." She smiled that patient, condescending smile. "Actually, the property transfers to the estate. I'm the executor. And as executor, I need to prepare the house for sale. Derek's already contacted a realtor." My stomach dropped. "Sale? Mom's been dead less than a week." "Mom's been dead, period," Sarah interrupted, her voice sharp now. "And she left debts. Medical bills. The mortgage isn't paid off. This house needs to be liquidated, and the proceeds split between us. That's how estates work, sweetie. Maybe if you'd finished college, you'd understand basic law." There it was. The dig. Always the dig. I stood there in Mom's kitchen, surrounded by the smell of her lavender sachets, and felt impossibly small. 24 and stupid. Poor and useless. Derek emerged from the hallway, tape gun in hand. "Sarah's right. This is business now, not emotion. You need to be out by Friday." Friday. 4 days away. "Where am I supposed to go?" I whispered. Sarah shrugged, already turning back to her clipboard. "You're young. Figure it out. That's what adults do." But Thursday afternoon, someone knocked on the door who would change everything. The man at the door wore a gray suit and carried a leather briefcase that looked older than me. His name was Mr. Howard Chen, and he said he was Mom's attorney. "I'm sorry for your loss," he said, his voice gentle. "I tried calling, but nobody returned my messages." "May I come in?" Sarah appeared instantly, like she had radar for the word attorney. "I'm Sarah Mitchell, executor of the estate. Whatever you need to discuss, you can discuss with me." Mr. Chen glanced at a paper in his hand. "Actually, I need to speak with both daughters." "Is Emma here?" "That was me." I raised my hand like a kid in class, feeling ridiculous. We sat in the living room, Sarah on the couch, me in a folding chair she'd left unboxed. Mr. Chen perched formally in Mom's armchair with the sell sticker still on it. Derek stood behind Sarah like a sentinel. "I've been your mother's attorney for 6 years," Mr. Chen began. "I helped her with estate planning after her diagnosis. There are some documents that need immediate attention." Sarah leaned forward, eager. The will? I have a copy already. Everything split 50-50, minus debts and… The will, yes, Mr. Chen interrupted smoothly. But there's also the matter of the house deed. My heart started pounding for reasons I didn't understand. The deed is straightforward, Sarah said dismissively. Mom owned it. Now the estate owns it. We sell, we split. Derek's already… Actually, Mrs. Mitchell, that's not quite accurate. Mr. Chen pulled out a document. Your mother transferred the deed 3 years ago. The house hasn't been in her name since 2022. The room went silent. Even the clock seemed to stop ticking. Sarah's face went white, then red. That's impossible. I would have known. I would have been told. The deed was transferred to a single beneficiary, Mr. Chen continued calmly. Legally recorded with the county. All taxes paid in current. Derek grabbed the document. His eyes scanned it frantically. Sarah's voice came out strangled. Who? Who did she give it to? Mr. Chen looked directly at me. Emma Richardson. Your sister has owned this house for 3 years. I couldn't breathe. The room tilted sideways. That's a mistake, I heard myself say. That can't be right. I didn't… Mom never said… She said plenty, Mr. Chen replied, opening his briefcase. She came to my office in March 2022. She was very clear about her intentions. She wanted to protect the house. Protect you. Sarah exploded off the couch. Protect her? I'm the responsible one. I'm the one with a career, with stability. Emma's a child who can't even support herself. Which is exactly why your mother did this, Mr. Chen said quietly, and something in his tone made Sarah freeze. She knew Emma would need a home. She knew you wouldn't. The words hung in the air like smoke. Derek snatched the deed from Mr. Chen's hands, reading furiously. This has to be contested. Sarah's the executor. She has legal standing to challenge… Challenge what? Mr. Chen's voice stayed level, professional. A legal property transfer executed while Mrs. Richardson was of sound mind? Witnessed, notarized, and recorded? You're a lawyer, Mr. Mitchell. You know this is airtight. I watched Sarah's face cycle through emotions. Shock, rage, disbelief, and something I'd never seen before. Fear. She was manipulated, Sarah hissed, pointing at me like I was evidence. Emma was living here, whispering in her ear, taking advantage of a dying woman. I never asked for anything. The words ripped out of me. I didn't even know about this. Convenient, Derek sneered. Very convenient. Mr. Chen stood, gathering his papers with deliberate calm. Mrs. Richardson left letters. Explanations. She anticipated this reaction. Emma, if you'll come to my office tomorrow, there's more we need to discuss, including a letter your mother wrote specifically for you. Sarah stepped into his path. Her voice dropped to something dangerous. If you think we're going to let some dropout steal our inheritance… Your inheritance? I found myself standing too, something hot and sharp rising in my chest. You haven't been here, Sarah. Not for years. Not when it mattered. Oh, here we go, she spat. Saint Emma the martyr. Poor little Emma who sacrificed so much. I held her hand while she died. Where were you? The silence after my scream was deafening. Sarah's mouth opened and closed. No sound came out. For the first time in my life, I'd made my sister speechless. You were in Miami, I continued, my voice shaking but steady. Some corporate retreat. Mom asked for you. She said your name 17 times that last night. I counted. Derek's hand dropped from Sarah's shoulder. Even he looked uncomfortable now. She wanted to say goodbye to both her daughters, I whispered. But only one of us was there. Mr. Chen cleared his throat gently. I'll see myself out. Emma, my office. Tomorrow at 10. Don't be late. He paused at the door. And for what it's worth, your mother knew exactly what she was doing. She loved both of you, but she trusted one of you to preserve her legacy. The door clicked shut behind him. Sarah turned to me and I barely recognized her face. All the polish was gone. What remained looked raw and desperate. You planned this. You isolated her from me, made yourself indispensable. I bathed her, I said flatly. I changed her sheets at 2 a.m. when she got sick. I read to her. I played her favorite music. I was here, Sarah. That's all I did. I was here. She grabbed her purse, movements jerky and wrong. Derek, we're leaving. Call Patterson, the estate attorney, and find out what grounds we have to what? I asked. Steal my house? The words felt foreign in my mouth. My house? I'd never owned anything. Never had anything that was truly mine. Sarah stopped at the door, her back rigid. When she spoke, her voice was ice. This isn't over, Emma. You think you've won? You don't know what you've started. They left. The Mercedes screeched out of the driveway. I stood alone in the living room, surrounded by Sarah's boxes, her labels, her plans for erasing Mom from this space. My legs gave out. I sat on the floor next to the armchair with the cell sticker. And for the first time since Mom died, I cried. Not pretty crying. Ugly, gasping sobs that shook my whole body. I didn't know that in Mom's letter there was a secret that would destroy Sarah's perfect life. Mr. Chen's office smelled like old books and lemon polish. I sat across from his massive oak desk, my hands twisted in my lap, feeling like a kid called to the principal's office. He handed me an envelope, Mom's handwriting on the front. For Emma, when you're ready. She wrote this 2 months before she passed, Mr. Chen said softly. She made me promise to give it to you after the deed was revealed. She knew there would be conflict. My hand shook as I opened it. Mom's words, in her careful cursive, slightly shaky from the medication. My darling Emma, if you're reading this, then you know about the house. I'm sorry I didn't tell you. I needed you to live there naturally without burden, without guilt. You stayed because you loved me, not because you wanted something. That matters more than Sarah will ever understand. But there's something else you need to know. Something I should have told you years ago, but I was a coward. Sarah doesn't know this. Nobody knows except me, your father, and now you. My breath caught. The next lines made my vision blur. When your father and I separated, there was another woman. Her name was Patricia. They had an affair that lasted 2 years. I forgave him. We tried to rebuild, but what I never told anyone was that Patricia got pregnant. Your father has another daughter. She's 30 years old now. Her name is Jessica Martin. I looked up at Mr. Chen, my mouth dry. Why are you telling me this? Keep reading, he said gently. Jessica contacted me 6 months ago. She found me through Ancestry DNA. She wanted to meet her half-sisters. I met with her 3 times, Emma. She's kind. She's struggling financially. 2 kids, an ex-husband who doesn't pay support. She reminded me of you. I changed my will. I left Jessica something too. Not the house, that's yours, always yours. But I left her the life insurance policy. $50,000. She needs it more than Sarah ever will. My hands were trembling so hard I could barely hold the paper. Sarah is named as executor because I knew she'd handle the legal details efficiently. But I never told her about Jessica. I never told her the insurance money wouldn't be split between you two. She's going to find out soon, and she's going to be furious. I'm sorry to leave you with this mess, my brave girl. But you're stronger than you know. And Jessica deserves a chance. So do you. Love forever, Mom. I set the letter down. My entire body felt numb. Jessica Martin came to my office yesterday, Mr. Chen said quietly. She received notification about the insurance policy. She'd like to meet you, if you're willing. Does Sarah know? I whispered. Mr. Chen's expression answered before his words did. Sarah received the insurance policy documentation this morning. She called my office 47 times. My secretary stopped answering after the 12th call. My phone buzzed. Then again, and again. I pulled it out. 17 missed calls from Sarah, 23 texts, each one angrier than the last. The most recent one made my blood run cold. You knew about this. You poisoned Mom against her own family. I'm coming for everything, Emma. Everything. She thinks I knew, I whispered. She thinks I manipulated Mom into cutting her out. Your sister is the executor, Mr. Chen explained, which means she had to process the insurance claim. She saw Jessica's name. She saw the full amount going to someone she's never heard of. And now... The office door slammed open so hard it hit the wall. Sarah stood there, mascara streaked, hair wild, nothing like the polished woman from the funeral. Derek was behind her, looking uncomfortable but present. You lying, manipulative little bitch, Sarah seethed, advancing on me. Another sister? Mom had a whole other daughter and told you but not me? I stood up, my chair scraping back. I found out 10 minutes ago, Sarah. 10 minutes. Liar! She was screaming now. You lived with her for 2 years. You had her ear, her trust, and you turned her against me. Mrs. Mitchell, I'm going to have to ask you to lower your voice, Mr. Chen said firmly. This is a professional office. Professional? Sarah whirled on him. You helped her do this. You helped my mother disinherit me. Your mother didn't disinherit you, Mr. Chen replied, his calm a stark contrast to her chaos. You're still receiving half the estate assets. You're simply not receiving the house, which was transferred years ago, or the insurance policy, which your mother designated to Jessica. Derek stepped forward, trying lawyer voice. We have grounds for undue influence. Emma was the primary caregiver. She isolated Mrs. Richardson, created dependency. I loved her, I said, and my voice cracked. That's all I did, Derek. I loved my mother. Sarah laughed, bitter and sharp. Love? You call stealing an inheritance love? You're pathetic, Emma. A leech. A parasite who latched onto a dying woman. Stop it. The voice came from the doorway. A woman stood there, maybe 30, with Mom's eyes and dark curly hair. She wore scrubs, hospital scrubs, and looked exhausted. But those eyes. God, those were Mom's eyes. I'm Jessica Martin, and you need to stop talking about my sister like that. Sarah's face went through a series of transformations. Confusion, recognition, then something like horror. You're the one who stole my money. I didn't steal anything, Jessica said quietly, stepping into the office. I didn't ask for it. I didn't even know Margaret, our mother, until 6 months ago. She reached out to me after I did a DNA test looking for medical history. That's all I wanted. Medical history for my kids. I studied her. She had Mom's cheekbones, her small hands, the way she tucked her hair behind her left ear when she was nervous. How had I never known? How had Mom kept this secret? This is insane, Derek muttered. A convenient DNA test, a secret daughter, a last minute will change. The will wasn't changed last minute, Mr. Chen interrupted. It was modified 14 months ago, long before Mrs. Richardson's condition became critical. She was completely lucid. I had her independently evaluated by a physician. And I don't want the money, Jessica said suddenly, looking at Sarah. If it's going to destroy what's left of this family, I don't want it. Sarah's eyes narrowed. What kind of game is this? It's not a game, Jessica's voice shook. I'm a single mom working double shifts at County General. My ex hasn't paid child support in 18 months. My car died last week. I'm drowning, but I didn't come here for money. I came because Margaret, Mom, she wrote me letters. She told me about both of you. She said Emma was kind and Sarah was brilliant. She wanted us to know each other. How touching, Sarah spat. The poor struggling nurse with the sob story. Sarah, stop, I heard myself say. Just stop. She turned on me and I saw something break in her face. You're defending her? A stranger? Over your own sister? You're the one who told me I was a charity case at Mom's funeral, I said softly. You're the one who tried to sell her house 4 days after she died. You're the one who wasn't there when it mattered. I had a career, Sarah screamed. I had responsibilities, clients, a life. I couldn't just drop everything like you. Like me what? I stepped closer to her. Like me, the dropout? The failure? Is that what you were going to say? Sarah's face crumpled. For just a second, I saw past the anger to something else. Something that looked almost like pain. She was my mother too, Sarah whispered. And she gave everything to strangers. To you. To her. She gestured at Jessica. What about me? What did I do that was so wrong? The question hung in the air like a prayer no one knew how to answer. Jessica reached into her purse and pulled out a stack of letters, the envelopes worn soft from handling. She wrote to me about you, Sarah. Every letter. She was so proud of you. Sarah's laugh was broken. Proud enough to cut me out. You weren't cut out, Jessica said gently. You got half the estate. The investments, the savings, Mom's jewelry. Things, Sarah interrupted. She left me things. She left Emma the house, our childhood home, every memory we ever had. And she left you, a complete stranger, $50,000. Her voice cracked. What does that tell you about what I meant to her? The office went quiet. Even Derek looked uncomfortable now. May I read you something? Jessica asked softly. When Sarah didn't respond, she opened one of the letters. This is from April, 2 months before Mom passed. I worry about Sarah. She's built such high walls around herself. She measures worth in achievements, in control. I left her the executor role because she needs to feel needed, to feel trusted with responsibility. But Emma needs security. Emma needs a home. And you, Jessica, you need a chance. Each of my daughters needs something different. I just hope they understand that different doesn't mean less loved. Sarah's hands were shaking. She wouldn't look at any of us. There's more, Jessica continued. Sarah thinks love is earned through perfection. I failed her somehow, made her believe she had to be flawless to matter. But Emma learned that love is presence, just being there. I gave Emma the house because she understands that home isn't about walls, it's about the people inside them. I pray someday Sarah learns that too. A sound escaped Sarah's throat, something between a sob and a gasp. Mom left me a letter too, I said quietly, pulling it from my bag. Want to know what it says about you? I didn't wait for an answer. She says you were her miracle baby. That you were reading at 3, doing algebra at 7. That she was terrified she'd fail you because you were so brilliant. She says she's sorry she made you feel like love was conditional. That she's sorry she praised your achievements more than she just held you. Sarah's face was wet now, mascara running in dark streams. Stop, please stop. Tell Sarah I'm proud of her. Not her degrees or her career. I'm proud of the little girl who used to bring me dandelions and call them gold. Tell her I'm sorry I forgot to see that girl more often. My voice broke. That's what she wanted you to know, Sarah. She loved you. She just didn't know how to show you. Sarah collapsed into a chair, her hands covering her face, shoulders shaking with silent sobs. Derek moved toward her, but she held up a hand, stopping him. I was in Miami, she whispered finally. When Mom died, I was closing a deal worth $2 million. And I keep thinking, what if I'd chosen differently? What if I'd just come home? I knelt beside Sarah's chair. My hand hovered over her shoulder, uncertain, then landed gently. She didn't pull away. You can't change that now, I said softly. Neither can I. Neither can Jessica. All we can do is decide what happens next. Sarah looked up at me, her perfect makeup destroyed, her eyes red and swollen. She looked younger somehow, vulnerable, human. I don't know how to do this, she whispered. I don't know how to be the sister who doesn't have all the answers. Then we figure it out together, Jessica said, moving closer. All 3 of us. Sarah's laugh was watery. 3 sisters. Mom really did save the biggest surprise for last, didn't she? Mr. Chen cleared his throat. If I may, there's one more document. Your mother left instructions for a trust. Emma, the house is yours, but there's a provision. If you agree, Jessica and her children have the right to live in the guest house, rent-free for as long as they need. Your mother had it renovated last year specifically for this purpose. I stared at him. The guest house. The project Mom had been so secretive about. The small cottage behind the main house that she'd updated with a new kitchen, bathroom, 2 bedrooms. She planned all of this, I breathed. Every piece? She spent a year designing it, Mr. Chen confirmed. She wanted all her daughters to have a home. A place to heal. To become family. Sarah stood slowly, wiping her face with the back of her hand. She looked at Jessica, really looked at her for the first time. You have Mom's smile. I didn't notice before, but you do. Jessica smiled tentatively. I have photos. From when I met her. If you want to see them. I do, Sarah said, and her voice cracked again. I really do. She turned to me. Emma, She stopped, struggling. I was cruel. At the funeral and after. I was angry and scared, and I took it out on you. I'm sorry. The words felt like rain after a drought. I'm sorry too. For all the years I thought you hated me. I never hated you, Sarah whispered. I envied you. You made loving people look so easy. We stood there, three sisters, in an attorney's office that smelled like old books and new beginnings. Outside, life continued. Traffic, voices, the ordinary world. But in this room, something had shifted. Something had healed. So what now? I asked, looking between them. Sarah smiled. A real smile this time, tentative but genuine. Now we go home, all of us. And maybe we learn how to be the family Mom wanted us to be. Jessica took my hand. Then after a moment, Sarah's hand found mine too. We walked out together into the sunlight. Three daughters carrying our mother's love forward, finally understanding that she'd given each of us exactly what we needed most. Not things, not money, but each other. Mom had known all along. Love isn't something you inherit. It's something you choose. And we were finally choosing it.